Moving to item 8, the Capital Project Performance Report, and Ruth Cable, welcome to the table. Thank you for joining us. And again, as we'd said with the last report, if there are any technical questions that aren't able to be answered quickly with people in the room today, then we would provide a written memo or a written answer back to the committee. And Ruth, you'll draw attention to the additional projects that have been included and will be included in future reports.
Cool. Thank
All
you.
right. So, any introductory remarks on this one? Thank you.
Yep. Good morning, councillors. Good morning, Chair. I'll take the report as read. This is the year-end capital performance report. The data was captured at the 20th of June. On page 50, the financial year spend at 20th of June was 369. So the 20th of June cut-off for this report was prior to the final costs coming in. So we did actually see excellent progress in that for our projects and construction during June. So the actual outturn for the financial year ended up being 386. Project exceptions for the month, which you'll see from page 58 through to 60, they've been reasonably static from previously reported. There's been about 10 projects that were reported as read last month that have come off. We'll talk to COVID-19 impacts. So cost impacts, we've got approximately 6 million worth of claims. That is still the case. And at the point of writing this report, we'd paid out 477k in both interim and finalised costs. So we've now settled 40% of the 6 million worth of claims. We will provide visibility of the finalised costs once we have assessed and finished the negotiations. We're expecting to have the majority of the claims completed by the end of August. Time impacts as a result of COVID. So in attachment D, which is your page 68, there's a number of projects there that are listed where COVID has impacted on our project completion date. So these have been provided to you for information. Of the 247 projects, so 55 of them have been impacted by COVID. And you'll see as well that where COVID is not the sole reason for delay, additional comments have been provided for that reason. I think the key message in relation to COVID impacts is that while we did obviously experience lockdown and additional restrictions, we did recover very well, and that's evidenced by the spend and the progress that we made to the end of the year with the 386 spend. In page 55, the carry forward and bringbacks. So this is the final position for carry forward into out of financial year 20. So that was a final position of 159, and we ended up moving 95 of that into this financial year to continue with our in-flight projects. With the Cycleways report, you will notice there at that time in June there were issues and risks relating to funding, particularly with our South Express and North West Arc cycleway routes. With the shovel-ready funding, that is no longer an issue and risk. So you'll see that come off next report. Watchlist report, the status of those projects have remained static from previously reported in May. There is confirmation requested from councillors today in relation to the finalised watchlist for 21. So as of next month, which is the July reporting period, we'll be removing projects that have been completed. And you've all had the opportunity to put forward projects of interest and high investment. We got back Horswell Junction Road Extension and Lancaster Park Development. They will enter the watch list for July reporting period along with Watakaro Avon River and Evans and Dyers Pass safety improvements. Any questions?
That's great, thank you. So those 4 projects, they'll start being reported on from the next time we see this report?
Yes, the July reporting period.
Excellent, thank you very much. And then just on the claims, $6 million of claims have been received, 477,000 has been paid out so far. Obviously, we're continuing to work through the remainder. What sort of timescale are we looking at for those? Are we expecting that to be wrapped up reasonably quickly, or are we expecting it to be a protracted process?
The estimate that I've had from the engineers' reps is that they're hoping to get the majority of them completed by the end of August. But it obviously does rely on the contractors coming back in the negotiation that's taking place.
Yeah, that's certainly something that we'll be keen to keep an eye on in future reports.
Yeah.
That's fine, thank you. Are there any further questions? Tim?
I guess the delays caused by COVID, which is totally understandable, but are they going to be soaked up as we go forward, or is it going to delay every project as we go forward? Is there going to be catch-up?
At the moment, we're trying to assess the impact in terms of the overall project. The ones that you've got on those on the attachment are the ones that have actually impacted on project delivery. So you see the revised delivery complete date on those pieces of.
But I guess there's only so many crews a company's got, so as they've been pushed back, because of COVID, when they've got a contract to do something else, that's obviously, I'm presuming, has been pushed back as well. But is there going to be an element of catch-up, and is there going to be a cost to that if there is? Instead of a 5-day week, they do a 7-day week to try and catch up, or longer hours? I mean, I don't know, but I'm just wondering, because if we've got, say, projects in our areas that have been delayed, or they're quite a way out, but will they be delayed? But I guess we don't know that at the moment.
Probably don't know that at the moment. For the ones in flight, the new project delivery complete forecasts have come from the contractors themselves.
Yeah, totally get this, and it's this is really good. Thank you. So, but
the teams are looking for substitutions to fill those gaps. If you have a look at that report, you'll see some, for example, have been pushed out quite a long way because of the change of season, or we've got to go and remove a few more lizards or whatever. We will look at substitutions to fill those gaps to try and keep that full workload. At this point in time, every job we put out, we do get enough tenders through the tender box. So there is enough capacity we've found in the industry to deliver our program of everything that we've put out today. So we will be looking to try and fill those gaps so that we continue with our spend along with your program.
And it's close to the times. Cool. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Pauline?
Well, thank you. Just looking at page 51, and this is the completed lot. The Robert McDougall Art Gallery, the weather tightness has been completed. So can you tell me when that was and how much it cost? And you may not be able to answer that cost one today, so I'm just putting that forward.
Darren will be able to answer that.
Hi. No, I can't answer that right now. But I didn't want to yell it from back there. So happy to provide that information.
Thank you. And one more, if I may, is page 56, and we've got the, and this is something I would like to add to the watch list if I could, is the St Albans Community Centre. Now, I think it's later on in the report, I see that's not due for completion now till March 2021.
Mm-hmm.
The community has been told that it was going to be January, we know there's been delays, and it was actually supposed to be completed maybe about 18 months ago. We took away the transitional centre there, so I do feel that there is an urgency about getting this completed as quickly as possible. So I'm wondering why it's pushed out to March again now.
I think the latest date from a site visit we had yesterday was just around about the third week of February. The roofing is going on next Wednesday, so we'll have a fully weather-tight building by the end of next week. So at the moment, that was one of the projects that suffered significantly through a COVID extension of time claim as well. So we're still working through that. But at the moment, third week of February, I believe the works will be complete.
Yep, okay. So, Mr Chair, is it possible to keep a watch on that one, please?
Yep, so that's something that we can, it can come back presumably through this future iterations of this report.
Yep, no problem.
Yep.
Thank
All right,
you.
so if that's
Really
something that we can
appreciate
just keep a highlight on, thanks Pauline for raising it. And yeah, if we can just keep a highlight on that as we have future versions of this report brought to the committee, that would be great.
Because one of the reasons too that we need to have these dates affirmed way ahead is because we've got to start getting the bookings so they're ready to hit the ground running, and those need to be coming in now. So there's a community group going to be running that, so we really need to be diligent about keeping them informed about when the doors are going to be open.
Yep, and I think Richie, who's running that job's been coming monthly just about to the community board of late, so he'll continue to do that.
Lovely, thank you.
All right, thank you. Jimmy.
Thank you, Chair. On page 50, our budget for 2019-20 is the $527 million. But on page 50, we can see we up to date only to be used the $369 million. So those $158 million carry forward to this year, am I right?
Yeah, well, that was the carry forward from financial year 20, but not all of it came into financial year 21. So only 94.5 came into financial year 21.
Yes.
The rest of it has gone into future years.
So you mean following year, okay.
Yeah.
But whether those one is due to the this page, the 53, the 55 project, either the delay due to COVID-19 or maybe 40 project due to some other reason, am I right?
That's correct.
Okay, that's very good. But this year, the budget for new year 2020-21 is $527 million. Cover those carry forward budget.
The 501
Yes.
or 506 million budget for this financial year
Yes.
includes 94.5
Yes.
of the carry forward from last year.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Now, Yanni, you've got questions?
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. Yep, cool. Just on page 75, I see there's an Apunawai Athletics Indoor Training Facility. Have we had any reports on that? I just don't, we haven't had any visibility of that project, so I was just kind of keen to get more information about what that was. Second question was in regards to Knight's Drain. The Knight's Drain ponds which have been deferred, can we get like a memo back on what we're actually doing to address the flooding in that area and whether there's any opportunities now that we own the red zone land to save money and do it quicker and cheaper? Thanks.
Okay, so Napunawai, Darren, you can speak to that one.
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you.
That is a new facility that was built after we've completed the project. It's an indoor, very simple structure made of containers with a covered plastic roof. It's an indoor training facility for throwers, discus, shot put, etc., due to be complete in a couple of weeks' time.
Sorry, is there a report where we've signed off on it? Or is that just part of the Napunawai project?
It's part of the Napunawai project, so no report, I think. Nigel?
I think the important thing to note, Athletics New Zealand are funding and paying for this entire project. We're delivering it on their behalf, and also they're paying a project management fee for that. So it's not funded by council, completely funded by Athletics New Zealand, who are paying council
Oh, great.
on their behalf.
Okay.
All right.
Fantastic.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, money's come into council, which is why it appears here it appears we're spending our money, but in fact it's come in and they've been paying invoices to date.
Could we have it in green, because it's actually one of the things that's actually a profit?
Can you explain what you mean?
It was a joke, actually. So.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay, courtesy laugh.
All right, so that answers the Napunawai question. Next one, Yanni, was Knight's Drain. Helen, welcome to the table. Can you make some comment on this one?
Thank you. So the Knight's Drain ponds are not in the red zone area. They're across the road to the west, and they're mostly about a stormwater treatment facility rather than flooding. If you're talking about the flooding in the Bexley area, which is the red zone, we have, so in December last year, we fast-tracked the design of the Waitaki Street stock bank and the associated wetlands and stormwater treatment, which is part of the regeneration plan and part of the Otakaro Avon River corridor. That was put up for shovel-ready money, but I haven't heard anything back from that, and I suspect we're not getting it. So we are looking at what we can do in that area. It is, of course, linked to, not linked, but very close by to the replacement of the Pages Road Bridge and the realignment there. So, yeah, we're doing some further work. The design work is well advanced for the Waitaki Street area.
Thank you. Phil?
Oh, sorry, just before you move off Knight's Drain, my question was, given that we've got greater prioritisation and I presume due to budget, now that we own the red zone land, is there an option to do that project cheaper and quicker, given that we own land just across the road now in the red zone, so that project can proceed?
So
the Knight's Drain one.
There are two projects. So the Knight's Drain project, the design work is proceeding. And for the Waitaki Street and the associated stormwater ponds and saltwater wetlands on the other side of the stock bank, that design work is proceeding as well and is being fast-tracked. And it has since December last year.
Right, okay, so there's no benefit to using the red zone land that we now own for that project?
No.
Can I add to that?
Okay,
We did
thanks.
worked on that at the
Thank
Land
you.
Drainage Working Group, and that's the best location for it where it is. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Phil.
Thank you. You said that about the cycleways are now come forward because of the shovel-ready stuff we got, which is fantastic because it's money that we didn't have and it's come from the government, which is very nice. These 2, 3 or whatever cycleways that are now full steam ahead, correct me if I'm wrong, in the LTP, these cycleways must have had some money attributed to them. Does that mean that they are now, that money will now come back to us to use on other things?
That's when we'll get a memo back to you in the next day or so on. So I'm preparing that at the moment.
Right.
Because it came through the office of the CE.
Okay.
So I will get the information back on where it is.
So if we can get that information circulated to all committee members when it's available, that would be excellent, and thanks very much indeed. Thank you. David.
I think on that, councillors will be pretty aware our capital program going forward for the next 10 years is pretty big. So certainly the 40 million that we've got for water will actually decrease some of that. Whether you use it for something else, I'm not sure whether we can afford to do it, might help us bring us down to a line that we can afford. But certainly the shovel-ready projects around transport will help us there. Obviously the tranche 1 money that we're getting for 3 waters will help us there. The money that we got for the coastal pathway, we also had in, help me here, somewhere 26, 27, I think. So that will come out. But whether we'll be able to use that or not depends on our financial envelopes, really. So, but it will all be added into that discussion when we prioritise capital.
And of course, realising that the additional funding for water is subject to decision making on the 25th.
Correct.
I don't think we should be kind of grabbing money that we don't have yet and haven't agreed to take.
Yeah. Pauline.
Well, just on page 71, with the Richmond Hill footpath, and that looks like it's turned into quite a large project now. I remember we suggested bringing that forward to align with works that were happening around that area anyway. But now this is turned into consultation, design, complex design related to being on a narrow hill road adjacent to properties, and it's not due for completion until April 21. So has that ended up to be a much bigger project than we first thought when we sort of pushed it forward?
It's not bigger than we expected when we put it into the annual plan. It is a complex project because it is on a steep site and it is reasonably difficult, and there's a very well-engaged community up there, so we have been engaging with them well. So it's not worse than we expected when it went in. It was always a $500,000 project to put the footpath up there anyway. Costs aren't blowing out or anything like that. So.
And the reason we did it was because there was other works going on in the area, wasn't it?
There's resurfacing works going on in the area, yes.
So have they finished?
I can't answer that one. I'll have to come back to you on that. I'll give you an update via the same memo that I'm putting together.
Because does that mean because this is delayed till next April and it was supposed to be finished last June this year, then the other works are also delayed?
I can't answer that. Sorry, not off the top of my head. I will.
It's just an interesting case because we do talk about synergy and trying to do the works together, but it seems to me it might not have worked in this instance. I'm not sure. Okay. If you
Let's get some written information on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lynette.
All right. Are there any further questions? Aaron.
Yeah, just a couple on page 65. So, Lynette, you're probably going to be the answerer of these ones. So, firstly, the Northern Line cycleway, there's no delivery dates in there for section 2B or not to be, 3A and 3B.
Northern.
That's
yes,
starts to Barnes.
Yes, they are actually still in concept, so we're still doing the planning for those, but they are well advanced. So that you will get some dates, as Ruth alluded to, with the information, with the announcement about the funding.
Yeah.
You will get some dates in the next report.
Oh, okay. And yeah, because there's the one that's in red there, which is due to Kiwi Rail, but I thought all the rest of those were as well.
They are effectively, they're all in the same boat. We're having the same discussion along the whole route with Kiwi Rail, and that's progressing quite well at the moment.
Okay, cool. So that's that one. And then on the surprise, next page, on the wheels to wings, sections 1, 2 and 3,
Yes.
is there a section 0.5? That is, because those are March 25, 27 and 28.
Yes.
But is there the...
So this was...
written before?
Yes.
Thank you.
So this will come through in the next one as well.
Changes. Well, thank you.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to those number changes.
So am I.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, Yanni, you've got a further question.
Yeah, thank you. Just in regards to the cycleways, I had two questions. One was, when we get the memo back about the financial impacts, are we going to get anything from central government over, is there anything in writing from central government over what they've agreed to?
At the moment, the only information that we have is the information that you have. So as soon as we have it, we will pass it on.
Thank you.
So in Newsline story, is that all we've got?
The only information that we've got is the media release that we passed on to you via the Newsline story. Yes.
Okay. And then just in terms of the Heathcote Expressway, the Tannery to Martindale's, where you've got, I mean, there's several comments in here, but there's a reference to the lizard habitat and possible delay.
Yep.
I just was trying to understand, in terms of the funding that's been made available and the delay for the lizard habitat, how that kind of fits together.
So the lizard habitat is a bit like the whitebait habitats that we have to work around. We have seasonal times when we can work. Doesn't mean that all of the work has to stop across the entire route. It just means that there's sections of the route that we can't build in a certain season. So we have to just program appropriately to make sure we don't build within an exclusion season. So that's how we're working that with the lizards. And there's a section where there's whitebait spawning zone as well, so we can't work in that area in that season.
So is there going to, final question just on this, is there going to be like a comprehensive report around the cycleways going forward in terms of financial but also delivery and decision making? So we're really clear about, you know, what decisions still need to be made and what the financial impacts are? Or are we just going to get a memo?
I'm not sure what sort of report you're asking for there, Councillor, sorry.
So I would have thought things like design, you know, who's making the decisions around the detailed design for the routes, when those decisions are likely, what the conditions of the funding are from central government, etc.
As soon as we have the information about the conditions of funding from central government, we'll pass it on to you. We don't have it at the moment.
Right.
The memo that I sent you about the routes that are impacted by this proposed, by the funding that's been announced from central government, I can put on that the current status of those routes and where the decision making is. All of the cycleways projects are metropolitan projects, so the decision making is made by the Urban Development Committee.
Right. But we're going to have a huge amount of work to do in a short time, aren't we, with the government funding that's been made available. So I think just having good visibility of what those impacts are and how we are going to progress it would be really, really important.
So it should be noted by the committee that there's a couple of routes that have consenting issues, but all of the routes that government has funded through the shovel-ready money have got design sign-off. It's already done for all of them, so they are really shovel-ready projects.
All right, so obviously there's further information to come once you've got that information. Yep. If we can get that circulated once you've got it, yep, then that'll be perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
Great, thank you very much. No further questions? Jimmy.
Regarding those major cycleway, the schedule in here, I'm not sure. For instance, like a South Express, you know, you have a current approved delivery date, current forecast delivery date. There's many focus on detailed design or it's a completion opening date on page 66.
The dates are the completion dates.
completion
so as in
date.
construction completed.
Okay,
in
if
place-
completion date, but based on your amber signal, probably is a severe delay, am I right?
So the final column, it relates to risk only. So it's the classification for risk is amber.
Yes.
At that point, based on the fact, whatever is written there, previously confirmed subsidy, awaiting the subsidy.
Yeah. So
So
probably
it's risk
will,
related, it's not an issue, it hasn't happened.
yeah, I understand, yeah, but probably will be the severe behind the schedule, because even you detail one, you have not subsidies
So
from the NZTA and also the construction, not yet, still need to waiting for.
So that since this report was written, the approval's been
Yeah,
received,
yeah.
and we're due to go. We're going out to tender on the first round, or it's out to tender right now. It's about in that period. We're due to go out right now, so the delays have been mitigated. That will turn green now.
Okay, thank you.
Next report.
All right, thank you. So we've got a resolution in front of us to receive the information in the report. And obviously this is where we confirm the projects to be included in the watch list for this financial year. I'm happy to move that resolution. James Goff, happy to second. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against, that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.